Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. Today, as always, I'll be doing a YouTube deck tech from the comments section for you guys. If you're interested in having me put a deck together for you or help you tweak a list you're trying to work on, I'm looking for any of the 5 metrics in the comments section. A bracket, a budget, a theme, a commander, and any pet cards you might have. I'll also leave a link to my Discord down below. It's an easy place for you to drop a deck list off and have me work on it. Recently, I had a request by Cyanyde, as well as another recent viewer for Maralen, Faerie Ascendant. Neither had specific goals in mind, just wanted to see what a deck might look like, other than more fairy dedicated than elf. So this is Maralen, Faerie Ascendant. It is bug, black, green, and blue, 2 colorless for a flying 4 or 5. Whenever Maralen or another elf or fairy you control enters, exile the top 2 cards of target opponent's library. Once each turn, you may cast a spell with mana value less than or equal to the number of elves and fairies you control from among the cards exiled without paying its mana cost. So, this deck, the interesting thing to think about is your commander is a win condition and card advantage all rolled into one. As long as you meet the requirements that Maralen is asking for, which is an abundance of elves or fairies in play, you are going to be able to eventually take over and win the game just by taking other people's stuff and then casting it. So we always talk about removal, and when you swords to plowshares somebody else's creature, it's costing you a card and it's costing them a card, and your 2 opponents have done nothing but profit. Maralen is breaking parity in that dynamic because you're not paying anything for the cards you're getting from Maralen. So the card advantage is kind of unbounded, and then eventually, you'll be able to find a win condition based on whatever your opponents are playing. So I went with a more controlling route, leaned heavier into fairies than elves, and this is where I ended up. So Oko, Thief of Crowns, doesn't obviously interact specifically with Maralen, but the reason it's good is because of its +1 ability. If you never played against Oko back in the day in traditional formats, then let me tell you, having your commander turn into a 3/3 green elk and lose all its abilities is much, much worse for you than getting its swords to plowshares and recasting it. Creatures, pretty much everything here is a fairy. We have Alayla, Cunning Conqueror. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, make a 1/1 rogue. Whenever one of our fairies deal combat damage, goad target creature. So a lot of these creatures do a good job at making 1/1s. So your other win condition is obviously just beating everyone to death with fairies. So you have a Layla. Bitterbloom Bear is the new Bitter Blossom. Cloud of Fairies can untap, so it basically pays for itself. Fairy Harbinger. So one thing you'll notice here, a lot of our fairies have flash. I think it's really important that we're able to play at instant speed with this deck. This is probably more so than any other deck I've built, at least as of late. Being able to either counterspell or interact with somebody's board or deploy one of your threats is by and large how control decks have become powerful over the years. Being able to uh have mana available for multiple things, and then if nothing happens, investing in your Fairy Harbinger or your Fairy Mastermind or your Glenalendra Guardian. A lot of these things are great for holding up that counter spell and putting the fear of God in your opponents, but then still putting pressure on the board. Fairy Harbinger lets you search for a fairy. Fairy Mastermind's card draw. Glenalendra Archmage can counter spells. Glenalendra Guardian can counter non-creature spells. We also have Glenalendra Liege, which will pump your fairies up. High Fae Trickster lets you operate completely at flash speed. Malleable Imposter can copy stuff. Mistbind Click So if this comes in and champions a fairy, which basically means you put you basically exile the fairy in order for Mistbind Click to come in for it, and then you can get your fairy back when Mistbind Click leaves. But ideally, you're going to be championing a token, so that way you don't really care about it in the first place. When it comes into play, tap all lands target player controls. So this is a good way of being offensive but still controlling. Nimrus is card advantage. Una can make tokens. Rankle does a little bit of everything. You're going to have a lot of token creatures laying around, so sacrificing creatures, drawing cards, discarding cards, feel free to do it all. Roaming Throne makes everything all your fairies are doing that much better. Sakura Tribe Elder, at the beginning of our 2026 ramp package, we have Sakura Tribe Elder, Cultivate, Farseek, Kodama's Reach, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, Shared Roots, 3 visits, Soul Rain, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, 11 up, 11 down. Stay consistent with your decks in 2026. For a base green deck, this is highly recommended for you to have a consistent game plan. Scion of Una to pump your guys. Seedborn Muse, this is a bracket 3 deck, so I did include 3 game changers. Seedborn Muse is another one of those things that allows you to operate at instant speed, and you can tap out on your turn for a big creature like a Roaming Throne, and then still get to untap with everybody else and hold up interaction. Safeless Safe is an elf, so obviously not a fairy, but still a part of the clan for Maralen. Comes in with Convoke and can save your board from a board wipe. Sower of Temptation to steal stuff. Spell Starter for counter. Talion for card draw. Tegwell to buff your stuff up. And then Voracious for more card draw. Damnation, Kindred Dominance, Raise the Palisade, always for you to control the boards. If you don't have any fairies down at the present time, you can just simply wipe the board away. And then obviously, Kindred Dominance and Raise the Palisade are way better because they're one-sided. You're obviously just going to name or not Merfolk. You're obviously just going to name Fairy, and then all the non-fairies are either going to get bounced or die. Notorious Thrawn can make tokens and can also give you an extra turn. Instance, so a fairly big package of counter magic, Offer You Can't Refuse, Arcane Denial, Counterspell, Fierce Guardianship, Glenelendra Answers, Mana Drain, Negate, and Swan Song. So quite a few ways for you to maintain control. When you're playing a control deck in Commander, it's extremely important to understand the dynamic of what you're actually trying to accomplish. Everyone in Commander is going to be playing really powerful stuff. Everything's going to be big and scary. You need to understand that when it comes to countering a spell, you should only be interacting with a spell that is going to win the game right now, or almost certainly win the game in the very near future. If it doesn't do one of those things, let your opponents have fun. Let them have their machines and get their wheels turning. Let them have their pieces that build up over time. That's totally okay. You're here to just stop the game winning spells. Dark Ritual as a one-off ramp piece. Heroic Intervention to save your team. Harmonized Crescendo for card draw. Cyclonic Rift, obviously insane in any blue deck, and these are your second and third game changers. Herald's Horn, you're going to always name Fairy. Hopefully get a little bit of card draw. I believe there's around 20 fairies in here, so 1 in 5 chance you're going to get a free card, and then it also makes them cheaper. Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots to protect your boys. Panharmonicon to double all those sweet triggers. Skull Clamp for a bunch of card draw. If you're not getting the game ended with all those 1/1 fairies, just start sacking them to the void and drawing cards off of them. Finally, Vidalcan Ori, an oldie but a goodie, being able to let you operate at instant speed is extremely powerful, as we already mentioned. Same reason Leyline of Anticipation and Wilderness Reclamation are here. All great ways for you to be able to operate at instant speed. Kindred Discovery for card draw. Guardian Project card draw. Bitter Blossom to make tokens. Lands, as always, do the best with what you have. Nothing here is necessary. This is an expensive deck, but most of it is the land base. Alchemist Refuge is great for operating at instant speed. Cavernous Souls on Faerie can make a lot of your stuff uncounterable. And when we're looking at a bracket 3 deck, I just decided to go pretty deep with the money as far as a land base goes. 3 Tree City, possibly being able to net you quite a bit of mana, and then all the good stuff you see here. Do the best with what you have, build up over time, but if you have an unlimited budget or a large collection, that is the mana base I'd recommend you start off with. So, this deck's extremely powerful, operates on multiple axes. You are controlling, you are winning with tokens and combat damage, you are winning with card advantage from your commander, and you are winning with counter spelling all of the extreme level threats that are hitting the board. So let me know how it plays out. Thank you so much for watching. As always, Godspeed.